What is that you are holding?
Nah, gun.
Eh?
Gun.
What will be the name of the gun?
The AK-47.
Why are you putting it there?
Now they are,
Eh?
now they are the hiding
We hide them because of what?
because of police when they see am.
Police. So if you keep am there, they no go see am again.
They no dey see am since when they put am.
Eh?
Since when they put am, they never see am.
They never see am.
Across Nigeria today, one of the most dangerous but less visible threats to peace and development is the unchecked flow of illegal arms. From high-capacity rifles to locally fabricated guns, millions of small arms are circulating in communities, conflict zones, and criminal networks. These weapons are not just tools of violence, they are engines that drive insecurity, poverty, and national instability. Nigeria sits at the crossroad of multiple regional conflict. Weapons flow in through porous borders from Sahel, Libya, Chad, and Cameroon. Some are smuggled along criminal trade routes. Others leak from national armories through corruption or weak oversight. Locally fabricated firearms known as craft weapons are also rising, especially in Southeast and North Central. The result is a market where anyone with the right connection or the right price can gain access to deadly firepower. Peace cannot take root in communities where guns are everywhere. Even after peace accords or negotiations, armed groups often hide or retain their weapons, waiting for the next opportunity to strike. This makes reconciliation fragile and temporary. Political actors also exploit this insecurity, arming thugs during elections, fueling mistrust, and making peaceful democratic participation dangerous. In essence, as long as illegal weapons are in circulation, every effort to promote peace becomes unstable. Government spending is increasingly being diverted to security operations rather than to schools, hospitals, roads, or clean waters. Communities suffer mass displacement as families flee violence, children drop out of school, local markets collapse, and social cohesion breaks down. The cycle of reinforcing security breeds poverty, and poverty creates more recruits for armed groups. Nigeria must strengthen border controls and upgrade tracking systems for weapons and ammunition. Security agencies need better armory management to prevent diversion. The proliferation of arms is not just a security problem, it is a development crisis. It threatens education, agriculture, investment, and the future stability of Nigeria. Until the spread of illegal weapons is curbed, Nigeria's journey toward peace and national growth will remain fragile. The path to progress begins with disarmament, accountability, and a national commitment to ending the flow of guns into our communities. In this episode, we'll look at how armed proliferation disables and makes our peace unstable.
I report. Have you ever witnessed a crime or suspicious activity around you? Don't stay silent. Take action. You can now report crimes easily by sending videos to us on I Report. Record a video and a brief narration of the incident with the location and send to 0701 372 8007 on WhatsApp only. Your action could help save a life or stop a crime in progress. Stay alert, stay safe, be the voice.
Illegal arms and weapons are one of the major problems we have, especially in the hands of unprofessionals, those who are not trained to handle it. So it's a major problem we have in Nigeria today. But what you could say is one of the major problems, again, is the lack of willpower by those in authority to actually tackle it.
It's illegal. That's to not have a legal weapon in our country. They know what to do. They know these people. They know the way they can capture them and help us, because this thing is getting too much. You will be seeing weapons everywhere, just like that. Somebody that is not an officer will have weapon. Where they have it? Where is it coming from? I don't understand. Let our leader should come out and tell us, let us know. We are not safe. Even though as we are in Abuja here, we are not safe. We are afraid. They should help us go into all these things. They should go and try to follow all these foreign security. Let them collaborate together. It's not that they should come and take over. Let them work together, hand to hand, and solve this problem. It's getting too much. We can't take it again. They should help us. We are not arguing with them. We know the power is with them. There is something they can do about this illegal weapon. Everybody is just carry gun anyhow. It's not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be like that. That is it.
How do you think this can be tackled?
It can be tackled. Definitely it can be tackled. Why it can be tackled is that they should identify all those people that will hold all these weapons on their hand, so that we will identify yourself. Who are you? Look at what day before yesterday, and this in Abuja here, they just enter and be shooting. Before they are even on one with bandit and the policeman, which is allegedly that they killed one of policemen before soldier came. When soldier came, those people ran away. They can't get them in that area there. In this Abuja here, Gwari, Abina, where they call it, it's unfair. They should do something to, they can do it. They should do something to control all these weapons that they are giving. Then all these our security people, they have to let them know what they are working for. Maybe they should get something that will identify them. They should not allow all these weapons to be useless. Maybe they have somebody they used to give those weapons to go and do rubbish thing before they will take it to the office to go and submit, or is the one that is taking it to home that is doing all these things. They should know what to do about them. It's getting too much.
Anything illegal is against the law. So when you possess any arm illegally, it's against the law. That's it. So you are not being satisfied to hold that particular arm. So you hold a particular arm, being it gun, being it any weapon, without a verified license, and it's against the law. And it's a problem, because the reason why I say that is if you shoot someone now, definitely they will need to investigate that, and then through investigating that, your fingerprint will be on that particular weapon. But when you possess an arm illegally, there is no license to it. There is no way they can trace that particular arm. So the illegal weapon is number one problem to Nigeria. And then secondly, our leaders are the problem. Yes, the people who issued those weapons to the people are the problem. Because if you know this is illegal, and as a personnel, you are not allowed to issue it to someone who is not verified or satisfied to issue that, to hold that weapon. So the people issuing it to the people, they are the problem too. Yes.
Hello and welcome to 360 Youth Dialogue. Like I always like to start, if it's affecting the youth, we are talking about it right here on 360 Youth Dialogue, only on Third Eye Africa TV. I am Juliet Ora. Today, we are talking about proliferation, how it impacts the peace and undermine peace and development in Nigeria. Today, I have with me Dr. Adam Abdulahi. He's a principal research fellow and head of Department of Defense and Security Studies Center for Strategic Research and Studies, National Defense College, Abuja, Nigeria. He has a long profile. He has a long bio, a lot of certification. And with that, we welcome you to 360 Youth Dialogue. You're welcome, Dr. Adam.
Thank you very much, Julia.
Okay, so much with your certificate. You have so much qualification. I want to know your perspective of what you think about security in Nigeria.
Yeah, well, Nigeria is not doing bad. That's the first thing we should know.
Okay.
Security is a global challenge like every other countries of the world, even those who we classified as advanced democracies or advanced or developed world, they're having their own series of security challenges. And we're having our own, and the government is making efforts, but the effort is not enough. And we need to, enhance and rejig our strategies in, addressing the security challenges that we have. Before now, we've had terrible period between 2014 to 2000 from 2021 to 2014 to 2021. So when we had a very terrible situation of the peak of terrorism in this country and all that, and of course, terrorism, like every other country where they are experiencing the same thing, it's not something you can say, okay, this is the fly, let me kill it, and that's all. There are many facets of responses that we need to take into cognizance and put actions into them before we can actually say we have achieved a lot. People will be looking at only the kinetic effort of the military, the security agencies, and of course the police. While it is very important for us to have the kinetic, capability in order to actually, stabilize the security situation, we must do more on the non-kinetic aspect so as to, attend to the root causes and solve the situation. Nigeria is a very big country. We have about almost 250 million people. And we have 36 states with various capital territory. We have more than 250 ethnic groups and all that. No doubt we'll be having some challenges, but the resolute nature of the government to do more will determine how far we can go. We're making some effort, but we still need to do more. Go back to the drawing board and recalibrate our strategies and see how we can, make some gains more than what you're having.
You already pointed out the point I wanted to pick out in your opening statement there. You said Nigeria's security system is kind of complex, where we have to apply non-kinetic and kinetic approach together. And that's really, really a wonderful talk you said there. Okay, let's talk about armed proliferation, our major topic today. A report released by UN says that the illicit trade and misuse of small arms and light weapons fuel armed violence, terrorism, and organized crime. When we talk about terrorism, a lot of people just think bomb blast and all that. They forget the small arm, illicit weapons that are, illicit trade of this small arm and light weapons. Why do you think these small arms and light weapons sell fast? And to us who are not security experts, how can we differentiate which is actually small arm?
Yeah, you see, there's a categorization, and of course, this is not a security classroom where we'll be doing all those classes. But the classification of small arms and light weapons are those that are very handy to be moved from one location to the other. There are many other specification coordinates that I can give on that, but let's leave it at that. Africa is facing a very huge problem of small arms and light weapons proliferation. As we're talking, the continent is facing over 40 million illicit weapons that are proliferating all around. 40 million. And about 11 million of it are within the West Africa and the Sahel.
That's a huge number.
So, and out of this, 70% is in Nigeria.
Interesting. So
we're talking about 7.3 million illicit weapons in the hands of non-state actors. So if we have 40 million weapons in Africa and 80% of them is in the hands of non-state actors, we're talking about 35 million in the hands of non-state actors. Imagine how much of damage they can do with it. And in Nigeria, we have about 7.3 million. And there is the report of the United Nations Office on Crimes and Drugs and Crime, and of course, Small Arms Survey, has actually showed that the armed proliferation, the level of armed proliferation in Africa is responsible for about 30% of death rates.
Exactly.
And, you know, this is becoming so alarming, which we, not only Nigeria, but various, African countries at the AU level need to do a lot to see how we can actually curb the proliferation of illicit weapons. And there's one aspect that people don't actually, like you rightly pointed out, that people don't actually pay attention to. There's this linkage. Even though there's a dichotomy, there's also a linkage between proliferation of small arms and light weapons, money laundering, and terrorism financing.
Okay, so there's a linkage between proliferation of arms, money laundering,
and terrorism financing.
Okay, terrorism financing.
You know, arms proliferation is a very huge business for the criminal elements. And we have this problem because of many of the African countries that are having crisis.
Okay.
Understand? Many African countries are having problems. Look at what is happening in Sudan. Look at the Gaddafi situation. Look at what's the coup in Niger, in Chad, Burkina Faso, and all those places. So where you have strategic neighbors who are in crisis, there's possibility that illicit weapons will flow into your country because it's a transnational organized crime. But aside from those coming from, our neighboring countries, we have the craft weapons that are made within Nigeria.
Exactly.
By non-state actors.
By non-state actors.
Absolutely.
So
about 15% of those weapons in Nigeria were craft weapons.
Made here in Nigeria
by non-state actors.
But before we go down to, locally made arms and proliferation going on in Nigeria, how do they actually come into Nigeria? You talked about, neighboring countries in crisis also affecting us here in Nigeria. And looking at this, it looks global. It's not just in Nigeria, but Nigeria having, major stake in Africa.
Yeah,
how
absolutely.
Do they come to Nigeria?
The problem we have is that Nigeria has more than 1,400 illegal entries into this country.
Yes.
So, it's very easy to bring weapons into this country.
Okay.
Very, very easy. Let alone those who have been, those that are being manufactured within the country by the craftsmen. Understand? So, but one thing we must do is that we need to embrace whole of government and whole of society approach.
Whole of government and whole of society approach. Explain.
Why? Because you can't clap with one hand. There's no single government agency or security that can handle this. It's supposed to be a cumulative effort from everyone. Right from the immigration, the custom, the civil defense, the police, the military, the NDLEA, name everybody. But the most important category of people that are supposed to play central role in this are the border communities.
Border communities.
And we have left them behind. they have the best intel that can actually help us to cope many of this. If we leave them behind, they are not working for us, definitely they will be working for our enemy.
Exactly.
And of course, they're going to be a ready army to be recruited into all this illicit, trade in small arms and light weapons. So we need to carry them along, win their hearts and minds, let them see that this is for their own protection. The country is working for them, and let us have their conviction and their collaboration to see how, the slogans, if you see something, say something. We are in Abuja here, in the central area. We don't know what is happening in those
border communities.
But a farmer in border community can save this country of a trailer load of weapons.
That's right.
Entry of a trailer load of weapons. I saw some people around 8 a.m. when I was coming from the farm can give intel, and that will help. So we need to carry them along and see how they can actually help this country in the overall security architecture of border security in this country. And of course, we also need to leverage heavily on technology. And of course, like I said, we are here, but we can still know what is happening over there. Giving, leveraging technology. Yeah. We can still know everything that is going on. Leveraging, technology.
Okay, since you spoke about technology right now, there's other reports about ghost guns where people print 3D guns, and then you talked about locally manufactured gun. Let me take this report. Still on that report, UN Deputy Disarmament Chief pointed out that the growing speed and spread of 3D printed ghost guns are growing without serial numbers now. That's for developed country. How much more in Nigeria, where we cannot even account for what comes in, let alone what is being manufactured in Nigeria? We've heard of cases where, there's an arrest and we hear that it's a fabricated, locally made pistol. How can the federal government, how can, security agency, how can they man on this point?
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, Nigerian government the federal government is doing a lot. We now have the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons in the Office of National Security Advisor. And that center is doing a lot. They have armories in 6 geopolitical zones of the country. And they have been able to mop up a lot of these weapons that we're talking about. And many of the weapons that are being, confiscated in the battlefield have been, handed over to them. And they are actually, keeping them safe in our armories and all that. But my own opinion is that center should be elevated into a commission.
Okay.
National Commission for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. When it's a stand-alone commission with full power, they can have state, even local government offices.
Okay.
With resources and right people to man this. We'll go far, we'll do well in that aspect.
So how will this commission, you called it light?
National Commission for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons.
Okay, right now it's not yet a commission, it's a center.
I learned that there's a bid towards that. They're working on that metamorphosis.
Okay.
But we need to, be aggressive about all this because day by day, the crime and insecurity situation is getting, advanced. So we don't need to be responsive all the time. We need to be proactive.
Exactly.
So by the time we were able to do that, we'll be able to do more than what we are currently doing. I told you we're doing well in terms of
security.
Yeah, in terms of mopping up small arms and light weapons. But the effort is not enough. Nigeria is a very big country.
Okay, so let's look at that commission. Let's say it's been metamorphosed into a commission. How do you think, how fast can this commission, mop this whole...
Yeah, it has to do with intelligent-led operations that they will be doing. The commission will be able to sanction operations. Just like, for instance, NDLEA. NDLEA is a standalone agency. They launch operation. EFCC is a standalone agency. They can launch operation across every point of this country, every nooks and cranny. They can deploy to every 33 state, every local government, and do operation and know. But when it's a center, it's a small place. Understand? It's a small place. And we need to get it, expanded with more power, more resources, in terms of material and human resources that we can actually, leverage to tackle this proliferation of small arms and live weapons.
So what is coming to my head right now is, okay, there are also private people like, local farmers and all that, let's say vigilantes, some communities that were able to make weapons for themselves to protect themselves. And a lot of people came up with worries that if vigilantes should, go on with weapons, a time will come when probably they're hungry or poverty and all that. They have weapons, they have the power, and now they turn against the community. On that note, how can the federal government, how can security agency, regulate this weaponization in security agencies like that?
Yeah, actually, government security agencies are allowed to carry weapons, but I'm beginning to get worried about this local support groups.
Okay.
They call them vigilante, they call them night watch, they call them many names, but they are not state actors. A commissioned officer is under many obligations not to misuse the firearm.
Exactly.
So, but all this, private security, they just, every Dick and Harry can come and they will profile them, and the highest they can do is to try to do some investigation about where they live and all that, and they give them job, and you give them firearm. It's not, to me, it's not something encouraging. We should discourage that. I think the Security and Civil Defense Corps is in charge of registering all these private institutions, and I think the private security guards or security outfits should be well vetted, and we should prevent them from using weapons. In my own opinion, I might be wrong, but given what we have seen in some other places in this country, where you see some of their staff misbehaving because they harass people, even in this Abuja. And what is disturbing about it is you see them working with the police. The police and road safety will be standing somewhere and unleash this private, unguided, armed guys to be harassing people.
On that note, don't you think if there is more training and, strict training on them, it can also curb that? Because they've come out to say, you can't just leave them to the hand of the enemy without their own weapon to protect themselves.
For me, it's for them to support our security apparatus. It's a supportive role.
Not like the main.
No, they shouldn't be Why do we have the police? Why do we have all the security agencies when we have all these private boys Now, no. You go to Lugbe, you go to Koba, you see them. They are not being, tamed in a way. They are, anytime you see them destroying people's car, misbehaving on the road and all that. And you see the police and the road safety, sometimes you see them, they work with them. If these people are working to support your effort, they shouldn't be allowed to play the leading role. You don't yield your responsibility to a supporter. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand you on that. Okay, what about community borders now? At community level, not like in state and capitals, community levels where there are not enough policemen, there are not enough officers on that borders. Do you still think they should have weapons?
No.
Still on that level.
The law, you can have your weapon legitimately. You can harm yourself. The law of this country allows you to harm yourself. Register, go, get a weapon. They'll profile you. You need it. Give the antecedent of the security situation in your place. You need to protect yourself in addition to the general protection that the security agencies are rendering to the country. You have your weapon. The highest these guys can do is to provide intel and do first aid security, operation. Understand? Not to carry AK-47 and all that. They can harm themselves with some other things. Understand? There are many things you can harm yourself with. Even with gun, a very good, well-trained martial arts person can disarm you.
That's true.
Yeah. Why can't they do that? Why can't they
teach them on martial arts?
Why can't they train them?
But I mean, if you compare...
And teach them how to use many other weapons apart from gun. You can hold a gun, a very professional martial arts person will disarm you.
But looking at the speed of the gun and then martial arts, I mean, it's giving that whole Nollywood vibe.
It's not the Nollywood stuff we're talking about. What I'm saying, if we have ever seen a professional martial artist, there are methods of disarming somebody who is holding it, particularly if that person is not a professional. If you hold a gun like this, if you are not a professional, they will know they are not a professional. Every well-trained officer knows how to disarm somebody. Yes, it's part of the training. You can disarm somebody who's holding a gun. So, for me, I believe we should not, it's too risky for us to allow these untrained private civilian security supporters to be carrying all these things. No, they shouldn't.
Okay, still on armed proliferation, we've had cases where, military bases are raided by terrorist group and they cutter away with their weapons and all that. And you linked this to, it to three things. You said, let me see if I remember, you linked it to terrorism, money laundering, and proliferation. That proliferation leads to money laundering and money laundering terrorism. So now that, let's say, for instance, now that they've cuttered away with the military's weapons and it's in their base, does this now, give them that morale to destabilize other communities? And what morale does the military have against this whole tide?
Yeah. You see, like I said, while I was talking about the sources of harms and all that, apart from those coming from the border, those being locally manufactured and all that, we still have about 20% of weapons in our armories across Africa have been looted, either by criminal elements or insiders. Understand? So it's a report of the United Nations. So this also contributes to the proliferation we're talking about, and it's It's one of those operational incidents that normally happen when you are fighting a war. Because if you have been in a theater, you understand what I'm saying. It's not easy over there. We are here in Abuja under AC talking in this studio. A lot of guys are laying down their lives over there. I frequent the theater. I go to the North Seats. Even I frequent MJTF theater in the headquarters in Gemina, in Chad, and places. And when you go there and you see things firsthand, the story you'll be telling in this studio will be very different.
What's the story like over there?
The story is a life situation of hopelessness, and you either succeed or you're gone. And we need to always, encourage the armed forces and other security agencies by not just isolating some negative things that's happening in the theater. When they have secured millions of people, when they have saved millions of lives, if they now have one incident, they are not professional, they are not this, forget it. Every other advanced country, they have their own problems. If you are very keen to watching international news, you will see a lot of things that are saying, even things cannot be happening in Nigeria. But some uncivilized Nigerians will just be talking. When you go, particularly on social media, you just be laughing. They've not been to all those countries. And thank God some of us have been to some countries. And we have seen what is happening over there. Even those some countries that we normally eulogize and think that is El Dorado. My sister, if you jackpot out. Just go there. You see a lot of rubbish. Nigeria is a great country, I'm telling you. And we need to encourage our armed forces and other security agencies. They are doing well. I'm not saying that they are angels or they don't have, fifth columnist among them and all that. So I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that there's no perfect system anywhere. It's just a work in progress. And what we have, we can make do with it if we, rejig our strategies and see how we can empower them the more and even recruit more.
Recruit more.
Yeah, of course. We need more hands.
Indeed. Okay, I want you to take us through this 3 link you mentioned earlier: proliferation, money laundering, and then terrorism.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, it's a global thing. It's a global thing. We have a global syndicate of trafficking, either in human, drugs, weapons. And they use that to launder money. How do they manage the proceeds from all this? They use it in exchange for another thing, which will in turn, for instance, precious stones, which will in turn, credit some accounts in some foreign places and even within. And also be used to aid one criminality or the other, particularly terrorism. If you watch very well, those places where we have problem are where we have resources.
Exactly.
Mineral resources. So weapon is being exchanged hands for some precious stones. And precious stone is being used to credit some people's account. And it's also used, to finance some other criminal activities, so that the insecurity will continue. We have conflict profiteers, people who profit from conflicts. They will not allow. We have people who are producing these weapons in mass production. They are looking for a way to sell it. If they can't get official channel, they do go through the proliferation routes and get it in exchange for other things. For instance, in Burkina Faso, JNIM embarked on cattle rustling, which is yielding between 13 to 18 million US dollars every year for them. Cattle rustling, that is what they are using to fund terrorism activities.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let's look at the impact of, armed proliferation in now you've made me understand that I don't want to say in Nigeria anymore because it's globally.
You can't treat Nigeria in isolation.
Exactly. What's the impact in Nigeria?
The impact is increase in criminality. Increase in criminality. That's the first thing. And if that is what we have insecurity, we have low economic activities. People will not be able to go to their farm. People will not be able to go about their businesses.
Exactly.
Our GDP will suffer. It's suffering. Do you know Benue State alone? Do you know what agricultural contribution of Benue into Nigeria's GDP? So,
food basket of the nation.
Yeah, look at the crisis that's going on. And even Borno. You'll be surprised that the kind of agricultural products that we're getting from Borno before the crisis was huge. So you can see the economy is suffering. Education is suffering.
Exactly.
People don't go to school. They kidnapped some girls recently. Okay. So you can see what is going on. So that is proliferation of small arms and light weapons is one of the greatest trigger of insecurity in Africa. So we need to deal with it, and we have to take some of these steps that I said the other time, that we got to escalate our efforts in making the center to become a full-fledged commission and expand its capacity, funding, and of course manpower, so that we'll be able to deal with this proliferation of small arms and light weapons reasonably.
One more question. If I may ask you as a security expert, who do you think are the main actors of armed proliferation in Nigeria?
Who? The criminals are the
I mean, criminals are everywhere.
Yeah.
We have them in different sectors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to you, who are the main actors? Is it people, the terrorist group? Is it people? Because a lot of people have alleged that politicians are sponsoring, terrorist group. Are they the ones? Are they the terrorist group? Are they the people on the street? Are they the farmers or community leaders that, fabricate weapons?
You are talking two things now. Fabrication is different. Proliferation is different. You see, even a politician will not go down the jungle.
Exactly.
It is the criminal elements that will do the dirty job. Understand? The big people will just give directives. So, but everything is linked to each other. And that's why I say we need to adopt a whole of government and whole of society approach. Everybody is a stakeholder. As a media outfit, you are a stakeholder, and that's why you are doing this. This is your own part you can play. As somebody from a government institution on the subject matter, I'm playing my own part by coming here to discuss about it and giving us the way out of the quagmire. So, but the criminals are everywhere.
Criminals are everywhere. And let me link this up to the youth. The youth are like 70%. And at the end of the day, they are the criminal element that we talk about.
Yes. You see, we have problem in this country because the family system in system theory, the family system has been bastardized. The way we bring up our children, the way we nurture them this period, we are not doing well. The family system has collapsed in Nigeria. It has collapsed. In Africa generally, because we have foreign influence, but we also have our own mistake that we are making. Sometimes people are saying that the Western civilization, acculturation of Western civilization has actually affected our culture, which in turn, affected our family value. The value system of families, understand? Look at you are here, you are doing your job. 1,001 ladies like you are somewhere sleeping since morning. And they'll be out to go and do work by 11 p.m. What kind of job are they doing? How were they raised?
So everything now traced back to the family.
The family system. Some young men are here. Those are your boys. Those hardworking. They came to our place the other time, doing their job, But there are some boys sleeping since morning, and when it's about 12 a.m. in the morning, they will log in, and you know what they do.
So you don't think it's because there's no employment in Nigeria?
There's no employment. Because there's no employment, you should involve in
criminality.
No. You don't say because there's no employment, no. A lot of people you are seeing in big places today, they've suffered unemployment before now.
Okay.
Some went to and do volunteer job, part-time job, even menial jobs. So that's not an excuse for you to be involved in criminality. It's not an excuse. And it all boils down to the family system. Who is your father? Who is your mother? How are they living their life? We need to, ask ourselves, bitter questions and see how we can, majority of people don't have dignity. So,
true on that. Yeah. True on that. Thank you so much for your input and on this. I would want to ask more questions, but due to time constraint, I think we would call it off on that. Yes, I've learned so far that armed proliferation is not just a Nigeria thing. Although Nigeria has like a big chunk when it comes to the data in Africa, we still can, tackle this armed proliferation. And you talked about criminality on the youth being major stakeholders when it comes to criminal art of armed proliferation, and how the youth can channel their energy into being an intel rather for the enemies, but for the security agents.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adam, for your input. Thank you so much for coming on 360 Youth Dialogue. I wish we can do more of this, but we have to call it off.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to our viewers for watching 360 Youth Dialogue only on Third Eye Africa TV. I remain Juliet Omara. Bye for now. Have you ever been a victim of crime? Were you robbed, scammed, betrayed, or harmed, and left with a story the world needs to hear? Do you want to tell your story for impact and awareness? On True Crime Story, we let you speak with your safety and privacy respected. We give real people the platform to speak their truth. We're documenting true stories. Join us. Your voice could be the warning that saves someone else. Your story matters. If you've lived it, we're here to listen. Reach out to us through our social media platform at Third Eye Africa TV or send us an email to share anonymously. Reach out to us through our social media handle at Third Eye Africa TV or send us an email at thirdeyeafricatv@gmail.com to share anonymously. Follow True Crime Stories here on Third Eye Africa TV.